Hold on tight and enjoy the ride. Now you got your first experience of artillery. What do you think?
That's fucking not bad. It's fucking...
Drones are my worst fear.
Mine too.
It's like an artillery shell and a sniper rifle combined.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck it.
Shit's getting fucking spicy now.
I need a vacation after this.
Yeah.
Okay, so fucking don't want to know Samara. .109 itself was a massive trench system. It was probably like, I'd like to say close to 100 meters total in length. It was pretty well built up, pretty well fortified until the Ukrainians pretty much all but destroyed it, which was good. And Samara itself was another separate small trench, about like 50, 60 meters from the last point of 109 further west. So that was on that tree line itself. That was the Russians' most western position there. So that position itself was quite important to them.
There was a portion of the tree line just to its south that was actually pretty well intact. It hadn't been hit by mortars, artillery, drones, or whatever. So there's a lot of thick vegetation that we didn't know exactly what was within that portion of the tree line. One of the times, one of our guys went out to do the drone reconnaissance that was actually intended for 105 and 106. But when they were checking that portion of the tree line, there were some heat signatures coming from that. Wasn't really definable as a person, but there was some sort of heat source within that tree line. And so it actually gave us reason to believe that it might have been another position there. And while we were scouting 105 and 106, we noticed that they were actually extending that portion of the southern portion of their trench toward that. So one of our sort of suspicions was that there might have been a second trench and they were actively digging to connect them. Later on, as it turned out to be the other platoon within our company that consisted of Ukrainians, they went out to that portion of the tree line and actually cleared it so that friendly forces could occupy it. And it was a small trench system that they ended up naming 107. And so we didn't have to worry too much about that, but its sort of significance is that we wanted to try and maintain the momentum to continue to take positions while it was on our side, because we took their forwardmost position. So now we have to try and follow up on that. And that position was going to end up being a staging point for us to conduct our next assault. And so with 105, 106, we did the infill via Humvees, but for what was going to be the 109 assault, we would stage in 107, infill all on foot, and then conduct the assaults on foot. Same as before. We started training, preparing for this assault, probably about 2 weeks in advance. We trained specifically for 109, and then as it came to be, this was going to actually be a brigade-wide operation, to where we were just going to be a small piece of the puzzle, that there were going to be many moving parts and many elements also assaulting various other positions within the AO.
My role in this was not very prevalent. I didn't conduct the operation. However, I was injured. I was still on crutches and I was just coming back to base. And the plan was already in place. The guys are already rehearsed and they're all ready to go. And I was with the Ukrainian commander in our talk, and I was just monitoring the mission from the surveillance drone feed that we would have up, trying to watch the assault. Chosen Company's role in this was to conduct a dismounted trench assault on positions 109 and Samara, which had Russians in them. It was an operation to be conducted at night, so of course lots of practice and rehearsals, training for night operations needed to be had.
The day before the operation, we started with, again, like always, getting all the kit ready, all the essentials. When you're doing trenches, especially in Ukraine, like explosives are your very best friend here, because there are so many bunkers, so many hideouts for Russians, and it's so extremely dangerous to poke your head in.
From the very first operation that we did in that area, right next to Pervomaiske, we knew that eventually we will have to deal with that trench system. It was a trench system that the Russians used to resupply trenches further closer to our, to Ukrainian trenches, to guide in artillery or AGS strikes, things like that. So we pretty much knew we're gonna have to take it eventually. Our plan was we infill into 107 in the night, wait there all throughout the day, and then of course towards the last light would be our window of attack. And same deal like other operations, that went fine, but the only difference for this one was, so 107 had been was previously Russian, so it had been hit quite a bit, and the state of it was in a little bit of disrepair. So we had to bring shovels, and as we got there, we were told to dig in, either create new bunkers or help dig out existing ones, and hunker down, because during the day we were told they will come at us with drones and artillery. So a little bit of incentive to dig and dig fast.
The infill was nothing really happened on the infill. It was a long walk, and it's like the terrain here is like open fields, and splitting of the fields is like a tree line, and we're walking in the tree lines, and all the trenches are in the tree line. And position shovel is exactly 300-400 meters to the west from this position. We walk through it and we go into the nearest trench from position 109 or trench 109. We go in there. We got told the day before that Ukrainians had built a hideout for us, so there would be room for us, because we were a lot of dudes and there was not a lot of room to fit those all guys in. We come into the trench. The first thing we see is, it looks like they've been building something. It also looked like it had been blown to bits, so it was not doable at all. So we go to a Ukrainian bunker that is extremely small. There's already 3 Ukrainians in this bunker, and we would try to fit 2 more guys in there, me and my fellow teammate Sweet. And we're just getting ready, like this is during the night before, so we're going to stage in this position for like 10 hours or something like that.
So I was a PKM gunner, and we went out for the op on the 25th, the evening of the 25th. So we infilled during the night into a Ukrainian position.
Sorry. On you, Ken, it's on you.
Where are we going?
This way on to the left and then up to the street again.
All right, we're on you, baby. Get in.
And we went into a bunker, and we'd pack in like sardines. So like within like a 4 or 5 meter space, we had Kaz, Ryan, Baymax, myself, and then Priest, all just like crammed in there. And that was us like fully kitted up. the like trench, like the walking trench in there was barely wide enough for us to have our kit. We had our backpacks on us, like our assault packs on us.
I was actually part of the second group to infill, and unfortunately, by the time I got there wasn't too much space in the bunkers. Any of the bunkers that were there, everyone was pretty much nut to butt by this point. I tried to find a spot where I could start digging, and all I could find was what looked like it was a destroyed fighting position. It was an indention into the trench, but it had no overtop cover. And so initially I was like, maybe I could dig into this some more. And so we just started digging and digging, but the dirt was really dry, and every time we started digging into the side, more of what was left of the top would collapse in, and we got maybe a foot in depth into the side of the trench, and then we're just like, at this point the sun was already up for like 2 hours, and we were just like, well, fuck it, we'll just stay here. No overtop cover, no concealment.
The attack was meant to kick off at 1830. It came to 1800, and our commander had brought the attack forward to about 1810. So we step off and we move to the far end of the trench, and this part of the trench is like 30 meters long. It's not occupied by the Ukrainians. It's quite shallow as well. So you get to that spot, we're all lined up. We have SBF, support by fire. We get them. One of them's Khan, he's the marksman, and then we have a PKM and a M203 launcher as well. And their job was to provide support by fire onto 109 while we crossed the open ground, because it was like about 50 meters or so of open ground.
So we were moving up, and our job was to draw fire. And the way that we were going to do that is I was bringing out an American flag, and I requested a like a GBL speaker, one of those like boombox things, and I was going to blast the American national anthem and like fly the American flag over at this one position. And it was like 500 meters away from where the assault was happening, because that would have absolutely drawn attention. And at the time of this assault, there was, I think it was 26 simultaneous assaults on Russian positions throughout the area. And our whole thing was once they heard like the English voices, they would have known it was us, that it was Chosen Company, and a lot of focus would have come down on us, because the Russians were not fans of us at all. So my intention was to, do the old fuck around and find out. And I figured if IDF and everything became too much for those guys to move, I would, become obnoxious. And I had my rounds, so I set up my PCAM, and I was ready to just start blasting, 400 or 500 meters down a Russian tree line and just start spraying rounds into them, pretty much let them know that Americans are around. I'm Canadian, so it's fun.
So as the SBF started lighting the trench up, we then pushed forward. We broke off in groups of 2. So the first group of 4 was I was part of. We had the first 2, they got up, ran. When they identified the trench, like the entry point, then me and the other bloke got up and then followed him across. From there, the others joined us, and then when we started clearing the trench, we got about halfway into the trench, then we called up the support by fire team to then come join us. When we got into 109, I set up the RPK gunner to face the south, because that was the most likely avenue of approach for any form of counterattack. And once we had done that, and we had started clearing.
Where are we going? I'm a little bit confused.
So we'll push to the edge of this trench, and then you're gonna have to move through the wood line, identify the mid-click line. So you're gonna have to go on a bit of a diagonal, identify it, and then just fucking,
So
we'll hit it.
and then
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Wait. Oh, my gloves back? No, there. Shit.
Let's go.
Hey, are my gloves back there?
The plan was to get out of the trench and get to a point where we could actually see 109, the two parts of 109, and Gimli and Shaggy would provide fire support, and if any Russians got out and tried to squirt away, then my job was to essentially shoot them.
Hold at the end of the trench.
Who's the last man?
you coming. You need to come.
Come on. Okay. Already taking time.
Hey, Jay. Is all the drones above ours?
They should be, yeah.
All right.
Once we got the word to go ahead and conduct the assault, the call came over the radio. Myself, Gimli, and Shaggy waited for all the guys that would be part of the initial assault group to pass by. Then we went back a bit and then got out of the trench, got out to the side, and I had my rangefinder, and I just started providing distances for Gimli, who had the 320. He started lobbing 40 mil over into the two portions of the trench of 109 that we could see. Shaggy just started laying down hate with his PKM, and what we had to do is just wait for the word that the assault group had made entry and had a foothold into 109.
That's coming at us.
No.
Why aren't they firing?
Fired your goddamn. There we go.
Find that mid-click line.
I think it's this one here. We get into the trench. We had intel that the end of the trench would probably be booby-trapped to smithereens. So the first thing I do when I come in, I was super duper scared of these anti-personnel mines. We get in, no anti-personnel mines. The first thing I see is two bunkers right in front of me and then one a little bit to the left. We started engaging the bunker and we started to throw grenades in there.
Turn the drone there. Get it in there.
Copy.
Frag!
Frag out.
Phone!
Phone!
We cleared the bunkers and we continue. The bunkers were so collapsed that I had to go out of the trench and then go back into the trench. And at this point the Russians already know that we are there, so it's not very nice to go out of the trench, especially under artillery barrage. We go out this trench is very easy to clear because it's just 200 meters of just almost straight trench. It goes a little bit zigzag, but you can almost see to the end.
Good frag.
Good frag.
Come on, guys. Someone frag right.
Frag out!
Frag out.
Keep moving, keep moving. Yep. Copy, copy, copy. I got long.
I got long. We got a bunker.
We come to a turn
I'm not stopping.
in the in the trench. We had a non-stop because I thought it was a deep bunker. Surprise, it was not. I throw it in, the first thing I hear is the non-stop thud in, like it hits the wall and it bounces back out to us. I see that and I thought like, oh fuck, this is going to hurt. I go back back behind the corner and it explodes like 1 meter in front of us. And this one that hurt really fucking bad.
Get down!
And I remember the only thing I could think about saying at that point was just, woo, that hurts. And at this point, I probably got a mild TBI at this point. We got it cleared. We continue.
Frag out!
Good frag. God damn, what the fuck was that?
Frag.
What kind?
That's 67.
Ah, there's fucking smoke.
Let's go.
Yeah, I need to fucking let the smoke settle. We got a mine canister here, so look out.
Oh shit. Yeah.
God damn, you fucking scared me.
Hey, we got tripwires to the right. Tripwires to the right.
Where?
Right here, orange line. Orange line outside the bunker. Deep trench. Deep trench. Copy that.
Frag that shit. Frag that shit.
So the front 3 guys are clearing it. I'm the 4th man in. I move into this little offshoot and I can see further west down the tree line. I can't see Samara, but I can, you know, the trees are blocking it, but I know the direction it's in.
Hey!
Yo!
I'm dropping my med bag here!
Roger!
Yeah, brother.
Hey Ollie, we have a CCP here as well if we need it where I am.
Yeah, get it into that bunker.
Hey, I'm suppressing long!
Hey, we got tripwires to the right. Tripwires to the right.
Tripwires right!
So I decide to start providing suppressive fire down the trench, because if there are people there, then, you know, at least I'll try and keep their heads down. And my weapon malfunctions.
Stop edge!
And I'm like, okay, right, I take the mag off, I clear it, check it, put the mag back on, rack it.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And I have a suppressor on my weapon, and I have armor piercing rounds. And I took my weapon apart, tried to figure out what was wrong, nothing, put it back together, tried to fire it, and nothing.
No. My weapon's down!
So at this point, my weapon's now out of action, I can't use it. I'm thinking, well, fuck, if there's a place that my weapon shouldn't stop working, it's now. But thankfully, I'm not up the front where that would be a real issue. So I decide to I tell them my weapon's not working, and I just hang behind as the 4th man, like ready to throw grenades or something like that.
Start preparing frags. There's fist follows here.
We get to a deep part of the trench and there's this box of impact grenades, right? And the lid has been sawn off and there's jagged edges everywhere and I can't pull it out. So I pull out my multi-tool and I'm trying the hardest I could to get these grenades out, but
Prepare frags for future.
Yep.
the Russians, when they tried to open it, butchered the box so bad that even my multi-tool broke trying to get it open. So,
Bro, I can't get this shit open.
Keep pushing, go.
The fuck? Does not come out.
I don't know, there's a trick to it, bro, probably.
I've got frags as well.
We start clearing more and more, and then at this point I'm still front man, but at this point I don't have any more grenades or whatsoever. So the guy behind me starts getting ready to start using his grenades.
Yeah, we are fragging right. Fucking frag that shit.
Yeah,
I remember he throwing the grenade, and for some reason I didn't look away. I stared straight into the hand grenade, and I just see my entire peripheral view just fills with shrapnel.
God damn.
Hell, I got it in there. You good?
Yeah.
I caught some fucking frag to the face.
Me too.
I get hit in the face, and my mate behind me got hit in the face too, because this trench is so narrow, it's almost straight, that you cannot really hide behind anything. So we fragged ourselves for the second time. But this is just the name of the game of clearing trenches here in Ukraine. You have to get comfortable with throwing close to yourself.
Got it? Yep. Get back. Yep, get down.
Woo!
Let's go.
We get to the end of the trench. We got it all cleared of enemies and whatsoever.
I'm pretty sure this is the fucking end.
Take a knee. Spread out, boys.
109 itself, it was easy because the Russians hadn't manned it. They were there previously, but they kept on running every time the Ukrainians would bombard the trench. So they would come back, but I guess luckily for us, when we got there, they had all abandoned it and left. So it made it really easy for us to clear. It was just a long trench, so it took a lot of grenades to clear as well. And by the end of the operation, we were, I think, black on grenades. So like that's how much we use them too. We took casualties on the part of the trench where we entered, because there was a wide junction, you see, and it was quite deep, but there were a lot of unexploded munitions laying around, like whether they were cassettes, like damaged mine cassettes, RPG warheads and such as well. During one of the AGS bursts, it ignited an RPG round that was there as well, and that injured one of our guys too, and he had to get taken away.
Oh, fuck!
I'm hit.
Ah, fuck! My fucking back.
Really hit.
My back. Ah, fuck. Ah.
And your leg.
Ah, yeah, my leg too. Okay.
Move backwards on the turn. Move now.
No, stay. We need to.
I don't think it's tight enough.
You're good? Yeah, fucking almost got me.
Yeah. Oh, I'm lightheaded.
Yes. Do you know where the hit is?
Yeah.
Here.
I think I redo my tourniquet. Can you redo my tourniquet?
Hey, no, stay with me. Hey, stay awake.
Stay! Oi!
Fuck. Come on, stay awake.
What about my back?
Where's his med?
What do you need?
Tourniquet, the tourniquet.
A tourniquet? I got one in cargo.
Here, I need his fucking
Medic bag?
medic bag. First mate.
Here, pull my belt. It's on the back. Fuck my life.
It's fine, don't worry.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a nice holiday, you know.
Fucking great first mission.
Don't worry.
I got hit in the back too.
We will check it soon.
Okay.
He survived, he's okay, but you know, at the time that was just one more person that we lost, and I think I think we lost one other to a concussion as well. And eventually Swede had to go as well because he was showing symptoms of a concussion too. So we were down like 3 guys before or around nightfall.
Fuck artillery. The next position Samara, and at this point it's probably like 8 o'clock, still light outside. The Ukrainian commanders keep pushing us on to continue during daytime, but I kept saying no, we have to wait until nighttime because then the drone threat is almost gone. And drones 100%, like fighting Russians is more like of a battle of skill. Drones is nothing with skill. You can be the best operator in the world and still get killed by a drone. But when you are fighting against another soldier, it's more about your personal soldiering skills. So it's a little bit more it's a little bit easier in my opinion. So I told them to wait.
Bro, this shit is okay with me. Fucking sitting there, me and fucking Con had no overhead fucking cover. We were literally sitting there just watching every fucking drone fly by.
All day?
Fuck yes, all goddamn day. Because everybody was packed in all the fucking bunkers, man.
True. But it was a very quiet day. I've never experienced such a quiet day here.
Oh, dude,
before.
I was so scared of fucking suicide drones. I'm like, artillery I can fucking deal with. I hear one. That sounds like a suicide drone.
That's a fucking drone.
It's back behind you. Back behind you.
Where?
Look, you see it?
Holy fuck. Where is it?
The plan was to wait till nightfall, and then under night vision we would then go attack Samara, because we didn't want to cross that open ground which ran on the southern side of the tree line in view of the other Russian positions to the south. We wanted to do it at night so we could make sure that we weren't at least seen by then. So we waited till nightfall, we set up security.
Hold on tight and enjoy the ride. Now you got your first experience of artillery.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's fucking not bad. It's fucking...
Drones are my worst fear.
Yeah, mine too.
It's like an artillery shell and a sniper rifle combined.
Yeah.
It got dark. The proven path is not through the tree line, but we have to go out on the field and follow a Russian proven path because we were so scared of mines, because we got told it was filled with mines everywhere. We go on the proven path. We see that we are trying to identify where this trench system starts, the new one, Precision Samara. Some sporadic gunfire started, and while this is happening, we're all laying down in the middle of the field, and we are like talking about what we should do next. And I come with the brilliant idea of maybe try to maybe yell to him, surrender in Russian. So a teammate of mine yells surrender in Russian. The Russian in pure spite yells back "Idi nahuy," that means suck my dick. And he starts firing again with the PKM. At this point, because we have cleared the entire trench 109 before, we were all low on ammo, so we decided to go back to 109. We go back and we make a new strategy. We need to get in there as quickly as possible before he gets ready. And while we are tanking up, the Ukrainians send in the massive Ukrainian drone Baba Yaga to throw down mortar shells and grenades and whatever it can carry. And they told us like he's in the bunker now hiding from the drone, so you should strike now. We go back. This is during night, completely darkness, so we are all on the night vision and lasers. We get into the trench. we started looking around, but this Russian was a very hard nut to crack. While this was happening, he had crawled out of the trench. So while we were clearing into the trench, he was shooting down into the trench. So while all this is happening, two guys is trying to suppress him, and we are trying to go around.
And this is the first time I've had grenades thrown at me as well too. And so, you know, when you throw a grenade, pull the pin, throw the grenade, the fuse pops, right? And it's a, you know what happens when you throw it, but when it's coming at you, it's a completely different feeling, right? And you're like, oh fuck, like where is it?
And that's the day I found out that Russian F1 grenades, they glow on the night vision. So I just look back and I just see like, it almost looks like a candlelight flying towards me. And it flies like this away from my face, and it hits the wall of the trench and thuds down right in front of me.
I have my mate next to me, and we hear a pop from the grenade. And he's like, oh shit, get down. And he jumps onto me. The grenade lands behind him somewhere. He jumps onto me and we fall over. And the grenade goes off, and I think his foot and leg are very lightly injured, but he's fine.
The first thing he says to me after I just saved his life was, get the fuck off me. And I yelled to him, there was a fucking grenade, you idiot. I don't care, we need to clear this trench. We get up again.
So at this stage, we're figuring out, okay, like what can we do? How should we tackle this? And then a drone, so we didn't notice at the time, but a Ukrainian drone came in and dropped a really big bomb on the trench. And we thought it was a Russian mortar because it hadn't come over comms that the Ukrainians were coming to drop a bomb, right? And the bomb went off, and we're like, fuck it, like let's withdraw back to 109 again.
We had Ukrainian drone teams that were able to drop some ordnance on the Russian positions where the Russians were. There must have been a miscommunication in comms, because after the explosion happened, the team then had to make their way back to 109 because it was a very big explosion, and they probably thought that it could have been Russian.
We go back, and at this point I've been blown up so many times today that my head is completely out of the game at this point. I tell the boys, like, I can't really see straight anymore. I think I've gotten so many concussions from my own explosives and Russian explosives, whatever, that I can't really see straight, so I will not jeopardize other people's lives if I don't have the reaction time to kill this motherfucker. So I say, like, I will stay back this time, and some other guys got put into the role of mine.
So I was first. I led us all into that that tree that was slumped over, and I held there and I watched where the dude had engaged us the previous 2 times, while the other dudes went around me to try and go to the entry point. As they crossed the tree, the Russian engaged us again, and then me and my other buddy next to me, who's also Australian, we started engaging this guy so the rest of the team could move into the entry point. Right then and there, my weapon had stopped working, so my mate's weapon that I got given had the same issue as mine. So now I was left without a gun and only grenades. So I thought, fuck it. If I'm going to do something, I may as well throw a grenade. So I start lobbing grenades at this dude in the trench, trying to keep his fucking head down. And my mate's next to me trying to engage him. And my mate doesn't have night vision, which I didn't know at the time. And we're shooting. And the guys make entry into the trench at the entry point. And right as we're providing a covering fire, an AGS round lands about 10 meters away, I would say. And I'm like, fuck, get in the trench now. So we turn, we walk straight into the trench, and this part of the trench hasn't been cleared yet. So here I am with only grenades and a broken weapon, and my mate with a working weapon but no NVG. So he gets in, he leads, he walks into, we start clearing this side of the trench, we come to a bunker, and he turns, full autos his AK and starts blasting. And I can see from the muzzle flashes that he doesn't have night vision, and like he's half using he's using the automatic fire to clear the bunker, but also using the flashes to see as well. I'm like, mate, do you have night vision? He's like, oh no, I don't. I'm like, all right, give me your AK, you start throwing grenades. So we clear the rest of that part of the trench, and then he links in with the rest of the guys to help. He passes them grenades and starts throwing them. So we cleared that other part of the trench. I've now moved into that offshoot that I was on the second attempt, and I'm waiting for this dude who was now trapped in his bunker with the rest of the team. We're engaging him, and I was waiting for him to come out the other side of the bunker and run around, because I knew that if he does, then I'm there waiting for him, and I'll just be able to slot him as he comes around. So, you know, nice, quick and easy. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. The guys engaging him, they got really close. We had one dude, so he pied the corner really close. The Russian engaged him. The rounds hit the wall next to him, and my mate engaged him. And when he did, he had rounds. He had sparks flying off, and we think that he hit his AK, and he then retreated back into the bunker, and then we had to now decide how we were going to, you know, enter and kill him, right? So we had non-stops ready. So the guys over there announced that they're doing a non-stop. So I'm like, okay, right, they're going to prepare to blow it. And there was a Ukrainian drone in the bunker, which hadn't exploded, so there was explosives strapped to it, which at the time I also didn't know. So I'm looking at my little spot. I'm in my little spot here, looking down west to see if he's going to come out. I hear non-stop, and they throw it in, and I'm pretty sure for a second night turned to day, because the explosion was so big that it blew the logs on top of the bunker off into the sky. And I remember thinking, oh shit, they're gonna fucking land on one of my mates, holy fuck. And it was incredible. It lit up my night vision like fucking nothing I've ever seen. And it was spectacular. It was amazing. And I knew that anyone in that bunker is gonna be Swiss fucking cheese like after that. So
109 and Samara have been cleared. It was from there was a secondary objective south of those positions. There was a wood line that we wanted to set up trenches in. There was no Russian movement seen in that wood line referred to as Cossack. So we thought that wood lot or that line was not manned. 2 members from Chosen, as well as a team of Ukrainians, were able to leave position 109 and try and run to that wood line and try and start digging in. Our 2 guys that were with them were to provide security, and while the Ukrainians were able to dig.
The tree line we were pushing to ran north to south, so it was perpendicular to 109. And the 109 ran east to west to Samara. And then, but between 109 and the trail that the Russians were using to maneuver to these positions, there was a suspected, you know, pretty much it was a known minefield. Gimli had a handheld thermal. I had nothing. The Ukrainians had nothing. So Gimli would use his thermal to scan the ground, and he would take a step, and then he'd scan the ground for his next step, and he'd put his foot there, and I would be watching. And the moment he lifted his foot, I would put my foot down right where he put his foot. So we were literally like one step behind each other, and then the Ukrainians did the exact same thing behind me. So Gimli and I, we made the decision, like, between the 2 of us, okay, we're gonna try and put these guys in. Like, if we have to do this, we're gonna try and give these guys the best chance of survival that we can, and we're gonna try and put them in as close to the Ukrainian side as possible. So like we made it to the tree line, or made it to the path, and then we started walking up the tree line. We went like maybe 50 meters, and then we stopped, and I was like, hey, what about here? And he was like, all right, like, let's see. And then he calls on the radio, hey, like, we're gonna put him in here. And they're like, no, further. Went like another 20 meters. We're like, here. They're like, no, further. Went another 20 meters. No, what about here? Further. I'm looking back, and I can no longer even see, because now we're the tree line is between us and 109. So now the guys who are supposed to give us support, you know, one guy has ammo. They don't even have eyes on us now. And so like I'm leading, and Gimli's behind me because I got the PKM. And eventually I get to one spot, and Gimli's like, and I'm like, what about here? And he's like, no, like they say, keep going. And he walked past me, and he's like, he stops, and he's like, okay, they're saying here we could put him in. I'm just like, fuck. And he's maybe like 10 meters in front of me. I go up, and I kneel down next to him, and we're on this path, and it's just a straight path for maybe like 300-400 meters. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, all right, Gimli, I'm like, I'm gonna set my PKM up right here on this path. I'm like, I'm just gonna shift off into like the grass a little bit. I'm like, but I'm gonna look right down this path. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, dude, this is perfect for a machine gun. I'm like, because if they try running down here to like get to us, they have to go in a straight line directly in front of my machine gun. I'm like, this is like a machine gunner's wet dream. It's just a full on, like, the Russians have to run at you in a file. It's like a shitty video game. And he was like, okay. And I'm like, but that means you got to take them into the tree line. I was like, once you're in the tree line, you guys start digging. I'm like, then I can come into the tree line and take up a position in front of you guys. I'm like, but while you guys are starting out, I was like, I got to stay out here. And it kind of sucked because that means I had no cover from anything. So if a Russian drone or anything came by, I'd be fully exposed. But for the immediate effect of it, it seemed like the best tactical idea. And when Gimli was walking in, we had a Baba Yaga drone above us, and we had another drone. I'm assuming it was a Mavic. that was flying around watching everything. And they're asking for a sit rep on the radio. Again, the radios were just clogged up. So Gimli's got radio in one hand trying to give a sit rep. His other hand's holding the thermal, and no hands are on his gun. It's just slung on him. And right when he breaches the tree line, all I hear is contact front and just gunfire. Everything starts lighting up. And I watched Gimli and 2 Ukrainians just drop. I immediately dropped down on my gun, grabbed my gun, swung it off to the side. And so Gimli's like this. It's like Gimli, Ukrainian, myself. I shot from here all the way down, and I ended up doing like 100 rounds, just like heavy bursts. 4 Ukrainians behind me, they just started lighting up everything to like the right of Gimli. They just started spraying into the trees from there. And we did that for about good 30, 40 seconds. And then I was like, ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire. And I was trying to figure out what to do. I was trying to see if Gimli was okay. There was a Ukrainian that was directly in front of me, and he was rolled onto his right side, and he's in the fetal position. He's looking at me, and I look at the Ukrainian to my right, and I got my PKM. So my PKM's pointed on an angle from this guy. And I'm like, okay. And I look at the guy to my right, and I'm like, grab him. I'm like, pull him. And I'm trying to tell him, like, reach up, pull him, get him out of my way so I can open up my arcs and we can start to crawl forward and try and get these guys. And instead of him grabbing his leg or something and pulling him towards him, he tried crawling up to him to grab him and pull. And when he started crawling, he got maybe 2 feet. And when he got his hand on the guy, the tree line erupted again, and he ended up getting shot right there. And then a couple more guys to my right ended up getting shot. So now I got 3 wounded Ukrainians directly in front of me. I got a couple wounded Ukrainians directly to my right. Gimli's down in front of me, and I start spraying again into the tree line. The guys to my right start spraying into the tree line, and we cease fire again. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, okay, I need a reason to stay and fight. You know, I don't know what's in the tree line. We don't have the firepower, the manpower to push into the tree line, because we don't know what we're looking at. We don't know what the position looks like. We don't know if there's bunkers. We don't know like how many men are even there. What we do know is that the Russians have mortars, they have artillery, they got drones, and they got AGS. And they've been hammering the shit out of our guys all night. And now it's about 2 a.m, and it's only a matter of time before they start zeroing in on us and just start hammering us, because now they know exactly where we're at. And I was like, okay, if Gimli gives me a sign of life, we'll stay. Like I'll fight, and I'll try and get up to him. If there's no sign of life, we got to get the fuck out of here. Because then if we all stay, we're all gonna die. If we don't stay, if we get out of there, we can take as many lives with us, save as many lives as possible. And while I'm trying to call out for Gimli, I'm like, Gimli. And so as I'm calling out for Gimli, all I hear is like this like thump to my right. And I look to my right, and I could just see a grenade laying there. And I could see past the grenade, I could see like a Ukrainian, and he's maybe 4 feet off to my right, and he's just looking at the grenade. He's just, and you know, time just slows way down. Like time dilution is already, was it time distortion? Everything, like a second feels like a minute. And my last thought is yeah, this is gonna hurt. and then wham, and it hits me. And it hit me to the point it rolled me onto my left side, and I throw myself down. And my first thought was, yep, that hurt. And then I can hear the Ukrainians screaming, and the tree line lights up again. And immediately when that hit me, I could feel like fire inside my chest, inside my right lung. And so very quickly I was able to assess if I feel the heat, like it literally felt like fire inside my chest. That meant that there was a hole going into my chest. That meant if my lung felt like it was on fire, that's the hot air from the blast. So I have a hole going into my chest. I'm like, it's gonna do one of two things. I'm either gonna bleed into my lung and drown if I stay there, or my chest cavity, it's gonna bleed into my chest cavity, and my chest cavity is gonna build up pressure and it's gonna crush my lung and I'm gonna asphyxiate. I'm like, I have a very limited amount of time to make a very right choice, a very hard choice to get these guys out of here, because if I die there, if I die there, then those Ukrainians are just gonna die next to me because they don't know what to do. I threw myself up onto my feet and I grabbed the first Ukrainian. I snagged on him. I was like, let's go, get the fuck out of here, get the fuck out of here. And I gave him a tug and I ran down the path, and these Ukrainians started following me. And when I ran down to the part of the tree line where we crossed over, like on this path where we crossed over the minefield, I stopped and I seen a couple of the Ukrainians ran past me to go to 107. They just kept going. They just kept running. They went to 107. And I'm running through this minefield, and I'm just like, each step, I'm just like, okay, you're floating. Just think you're floating, just go. You just got to make it to the trench. You just got to make it to the trench. Each step, I'm just getting one step closer, one step closer, one step closer. And I get to the trench, and I could just see their faces. They're just like looking at me like I'm fucking, they're expecting me at any moment to just explode. And I just like throw myself into the trench. And immediately they start grabbing at my gear, and they're like, you're hit. And I'm like, yeah, I'm hit pretty bad. I'm pretty sure I'm about to die. And they're like, holy fuck. They're like, the medic lifts up my shirt. He's like, you got a hole in your chest. I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm pretty sure I'm about to die. I'm like, you guys got to help Gimli. Gimli's still out there. I can't get to him. He's in the tree line. He's hit real bad. I can't get to him. He's looking over the rest of my body. And he's like, man, you got a lot of blood coming from your legs. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, your legs are hit. And I was like, oh, fuck. He's like, hold on, I'm gonna put a tourniquet on. I was like, no. I was like, is it arterial? He's like, hold on. He pulls open my legs, and he's like, no, it's not arterial. I was like, then leave it. I was like, even though it's a lot of blood, because there's a lot of holes, I was like, just leave it. I was like, because if you put a tourniquet on it, I can't walk. I told him, I was like, I need to move as fast as I can, as far as I can, as fast as I can, while I can. I was like, I don't want to be the guy that you need to send out 6 dudes to carry me in a stretcher so that way a drone could come and smoke me and my friends. I was like, let me move as far as I can, as fast as I can. I was like, let me go. Let me go.
I hear Dirty P on the radio basically saying, he's wounded and he's coming back to 107 and he's trying to find our position. He bypassed our position and tried to get in on the north side of the bunker, but by this point we already had, I think, like 2 or 3 wounded Ukrainians in our bunkers, so we were running out of space, and so he had to squeeze in as best as he could from on the north side of it, and Cass started helping him. And I was dealing with one of the other Ukrainians that had a wound to his leg.
So I throw myself down there, and Khan was in one area of the bunker, a very loose term bunker, and Kaz was in a separate area. So I was with Kaz, but I couldn't see Khan, but I could hear him. And I could hear while I was there with Kaz that another Ukrainian that was with me came into the bunker, and I could hear Khan being like, Kaz, I need you. And Kaz is like, I'm working on P. And he's like, Khan was like, P, you're working on P? He's like, yeah, P's hit real bad. And he's like, fuck. And he's like, oh shit, this guy's got arterial bleeding. And I'm hearing Khan work on this Ukrainian. And I'm glad that Khan was doing. I know Khan doesn't like doing the medical stuff anymore, but he's unfortunately got a lot of experience because of where he always ends up. And he does a good job, and he's probably saved a bunch of lives.
Not too much long after, because Dirty P was able to still walk on his own for the most part, considering his injuries, he left on his own. But that's when we started to get word that, you know, that Gimli wasn't with us, that he was still out there. After some time, like, we tried to explore options of trying to get to Gimli and get him back, but we essentially weren't able to, just because they were ambushed by Russians that we didn't know about, that had actually these concealed and thermal thermal blocking positions, just hasty little firing slits in the ground. And so that's why we never knew that they even occupied that portion of the trench. And so with all those unknown factors, we weren't able to make it to Gimli to get him back.
At that point, we had, you know, a few wounded from the mission. The Ukrainian relief came. I went back to the trench. Sorry, we went back to 109, and all but, I believe, 4 of us were then back in 109, because the rest of our dudes have exfilled back to 107 and shovel. So I'm sitting there with the other team lead. I'm thinking, like, what the fuck do we do? How do we do this? And we just decide that it's too risky, because if we go there to get him, we're either going to get shot by the Russians or engaged by the AGS. So we decide to pull out. We make our way back to 107, and then we exfil. We exfil early morning.
And once we got the shovel, artillery or our mortars started coming down on Samara and 109, and those guys started getting hammered. I think this was when, like, the Russians probably realized what was going on and that we pulled out. So, like, they seen us go to that position, so they just wanted to smash it and get rid of all of us.
Eventually, everybody left that position except Khan and me. Our casualties got evacuated, luckily, and Khan and me were just kind of sitting there like, did they forget we exist? And so, you know, every now and then we pop our head out, and we don't really have radio reception at this point. Like, the radios were just fucked. We kept getting hammered by mortars and everything. Some mortars landed directly on top of our blindage, so that was not cheesy. AGS got us pretty decent. They had the entrance to our blindage locked in, or sighted in. So, you know, whenever you would pop your head out, literally a couple seconds later, go to, and we go, oh. At this point, Con and me are just like, should we try? Like, do we go back? Like, nobody's talking to us. Nobody's even mentioning or listening to us on the radio. And so we kind of get ready. We get our shit together. We make sure we have some of the wounded guys' kit as well. We start hearing someone approach, and at first we're like, oh, fuck, we're going to get pushed. And so we're kind of sitting there like, well, and then we hear Amerikansky, and, you know, one of the lads from the assault team just jumps in, and he's like, we have to leave. Like, we got to go now.
Once I got the word, okay, you know, go ahead, leave the bunker, start going back. I set my rifle outside the entrance of the bunker, and I was just about to poke my head out of the entrance, and then a mortar just lands directly on top, like right above my head. And luckily there were some logs right there, and it was like just this quick, like 2 seconds. I just don't remember anything. It was just a sudden blackout, and then there's a lot of confusion. I'm just sitting there like looking around for a second, and then Cass like reaches over me and he starts patting me down, and he's like, yo, like, you good? And I was like, oh shit, like, I think I'm good. I don't feel anything. My head hurts, but yeah, I think I'm good.
Actually, it knocked Khan out for a couple seconds. And we're like, oh, fuck. And yeah, it actually fucked up the stuff that we had laying in front of the blindage. And so Khan and me are still kind of joking about it. We're like, oh, good call. Because the idea was that, you know, we go out, we grab, we run. And so if we had gone out and would have grabbed it, then whoever would have grabbed it at the time would have gotten fucked up.
I crawled out, and just looked over, and luckily my rifle was still there. I grabbed it and I stood up, took like 3 steps, and then just fell over. Just I don't know, it was like I just had no sense of balance, and then was like, oh fuck. Stood up, took like 3 more steps, fell over again, stood up, 3 more steps, fell over. And then by this point, like, I just took a quick knee for a second, just try to gather myself and, you know, get my bearings straight. And then I stood up again, and then I yelled back to Kaz. I was like, Kaz, I can't keep my balance. And he was like, okay, just try to keep going. I was like, okay.
So while I was walking back, I met Phoenix. He was on like a stretcher thing, like a rolly thing, and his foot was blown off. The first thing I asked, like, what happened? He hit a minefield, and I asked where, and I said it was not the one behind position shovel, was it? And he said yes. And the first thing Phoenix says is like, I'm sorry. And I told him like, no, it's fine, man. It's not my leg. I don't know, like bad jokes. And he didn't laugh. And we rolled him back to the Casevac point again. We're trying to stabilize him.
Ryder, this is Ollie. Give it to me. Take my rifle. You're doing great, Phoenix. Ryder, this is Ollie. Put this underneath him a little bit. Yeah. We gotta grab him by the bands and by the arms. Yeah. Here, 1, 2. Oh, you're not that heavy anymore. The Humvee is coming now. Yeah. Get down.
The Humvee comes, and when the Humvee comes, I look into the Humvee, and there's another guy there.
Hey, yo, Beef. What? How are you?
A big American guy called Beef. He's also missing a leg. So what happened was, Phoenix was point man, and Beef was right behind him. Phoenix hits the mine. The first thing you do when someone hits a mine is to stand still. But in the fog of war, you have been fighting for so long, and or you just forget. Beef runs up to him to help him, and when Beef takes a knee to help him, what we think is Beef hit the mine with his shin, because his foot was still there, but like everything on the heel was like gone.
Look him a bit more. I can't feel my fucking legs. I will leave my weapon here.
The exfil could have gone smoother, but you know, we only lost one on that op. So as unfortunate as it is, but it was a success at the very least. We took 109 in Samara, what we were meant to do, and then the tree line to the south was a nice to have but not a need, essentially. So, and yeah, that's my first time fighting effectively at night. It's definitely an experience. I think fighting at night's probably one of the scariest things I have to do, because even though we have the advantage with night vision to see, you're still limited in your senses. So it's you know, it's definitely a strange experience and a very scary but exciting one as well.
And I'm in the back of this ambulance, and we get to the hospital, and one of the guys who was originally out there, but he went back in with the first group for a TBI. He brought us like our hospital bags. It's like our bags with like our cell phones, clothes, stuff like that. And he told us that the Russians executed Gimli. Yeah, he was still alive, and they pulled him out of the tree line. They put a bullet in his head, and they did it like in front of a drone. Yeah. Even to this day, like, I don't know if, like, I know tactically I made the right call, but like, like camaraderie or emotionally or however you want to put it, like it doesn't feel like I made the right call. It's definitely changed the way I look at things, and definitely changed the way I look at the guys that are around me, and how I look at who I want to go into battle with. You know, I was definitely proud to be part of Chosen Company back then.
All right, boys. With my luck, I'm gonna pass my helmet and I get buried in this fucking trench.
Hi, Mom. I'm having a great time training people in Yaroville.
We got back there, Dane and Phoenix.
Dad still thinks I'm in the British Army, don't worry.
Dane's got a lot more hair than I remember.
He does, doesn't he?
Right? So we got Phoenix, then we got Dane, then we got Finian, then we got Kevin, and then we got Shaggy, and then we got Gimli, and then me, obviously.
I still want my steak.
Gimli?
Oh.
Are you just gonna show everybody your artwork?
Here we go.
Yes, I'm helping.
Show the world this beautiful face.
No.
We bought him at the lawn care center in the gnome section at Walmart.
Wow.
And
He's a dwarf. That's why he mines.
we bring him with us everywhere we go.
It's instinctual. He's around dirt. He has to mine. It's a dwarf.
I can't stop touching dirt.
Well,
That explains why you're here.
That was a good one, Jay.
There's more pictures in this chat than all my family has.
We are your family.
Yeah, there's some things in life you never forget. Like, we all should have died that night, and like the Russians should have slaughtered us. I think we got lucky being able to get away. I think the choice I made tactically was the proper choice. I think I wish I would have just pushed into the tree line, but I don't think people understand just how hard of a choice that is, given this situation. Because like, if you push into the tree line, that could have been the wrong call, and all of us could have died. Unfortunately, Gimli paid the price for that choice. But the other 7 of us are still here, and I'm still here ready to fight.